Hello humans, this is Random Assault and welcome to the Random Channel. Today we're going to be continue playing Medieval Fantasy Rogue's Choice Chapter 17. This is by Sam Landstrom again. I have 4 life, I just noticed for some reason. I mean, did we end up on 4 life? I mean, it's not like every single time the new chapter starts, it resets the life anyway. So I guess we're starting off with 4 life. It's been a while, so I'm not 100% on that, but I don't need to read the recap anyway. I remember we went to the top of the tower. We're talking to Drala. There was Kalak. There was a golden dragon who was a hunter. We are dressed up as what was his name? Lestrel. Yeah, Kalak's apprentice. And Kriya was there. And now we're all hopping on the dragon's back, and we're gonna be going towards Ring City to take on the undead horde. Which is funny because you know, what is her name? Fucking Drala thinks she has like a Alathian goddess pendant around her neck, though she doesn't, because we have that around our neck. But anyway, so let's get down to it. This is just the recap. The dragon nestles down, presumably to allow your party to climb up on him more easily. This reminds me of a bird, a massive, beautiful, and dangerous bird. Gods, Egra, what if I fall off of him? You say in your mind. I shall laugh, but only a little, says Egra. Clumsy buffoonery is not my preferred comedy. Oh, I see. She likes dark comedy. You will not save me somehow. You will allow your champion to die like that. Drala levitates high up onto the back of the dragon near the neck. As she's aloft, you think you spot an eye on the sole of one of her feet, but you don't truly believe it. Oh wow, she has an eye underneath her feet. That would be weird. What is the point of an eye on the bottom of your foot? How would it feel to walk with that? I could use my father's favor to allow you to fly, says Egra. Or have you ever heard of feather fall spell? I bet it involves floating down like a feather, you say. Kalak is climbing aboard the dragon now. The spry old woman, now in the form of a man, uses the dragon's plentiful horns as foothold as she wraps her fingertips around the top of thick golden scales. So is the dragon just golden all around? I mean, it would be absurd. Like in the morning, we are at night, so it's fine, I suppose. But in the morning, that shit would be like bright as fuck. Like you wouldn't be able to see the thing. Yes, and featherfall takes less favor, but it's not as fun as flying, says Egra. And of course I could turn you into a pigeon. Remember when I did that? To be a pigeon in the midst of a battle does not sound good to you. The dragon turns his head and regards you, perhaps noticing your apprehension climbing up onto his back. His intense golden eyes unnerve you. You feel a desire to act out, as you tend to do when you're nervous. A few instincts come to you. Say permission to board, Captain. Wink at the dragon. Focus on showing off your climbing skills. I think I'm just gonna say permission to board, Captain. Morale decreases 1 for some reason. I went negative morale. Permission to board, Captain. You say with a wry smile. Kalak scowls at you from her perch behind Drala. Permission to hurry up. We have a battle to fight, says the dragon, regarding you dismissively with his large, beautiful, terrifying eyes. Not wasting another moment, you swiftly climb up, using horns and scales as you saw Kalak do. The climb is child's play to an experienced climber such as yourself. You try to make it look easy, hoping to impress the others. Unfortunately, all the dragon says, I hope you keep that sense of humor even as each of us perish one by one in the bloody battle that is to come. A rather dark thing to say, you mutter as you settle in behind Kalak. An unnecessarily pessimistic, you add. Did you hear that, Egra? I thought all golden dragons were all about light and hope, you say. You bring out the worst in many champions, says Egra with a chuckle. What's wrong with you? Whispers Kalak. You've been behaving strangely, Lestrel. Excuse me, just my fear of impending death, you say. I don't see any stirrups. That's specifically what's wrong with me, you think as you peer over the huge flanks of the dragon. You're now seated behind Kalak, less than a meter forward of where gold-thread wings extend from his body. There's a ridge of small, dull, curved horns that run along the spine of the dragon, which is currently pressed up against your crotch, uncomfortably. You grip the scaled flanks of the dragon with the legs, try to put yourself on its uncomfortable spine. Yet sitting on a dragon must be so fucking weird. Like, I confirmed that when I was watching Game of Thrones. I mean, obviously the Game of Thrones individual is not even a dragon. It's a drake, I think it's called. Or even a Varin. Yeah, I would say it's a Varin. I'm not 100% on what's the difference between a Varin and a Drake. I believe Drakes are higher level than Varin. And above that it would be dragons. I'm not 100% on the physiological changes between a Drake and a Varin. A Varin and a dragon, there are differences, considering that a dragon has 4 limbs and wings are on its back. However, when a Viren, like the Game of Thrones, the wings are combined with the front limbs, so they're part of the wings as well. So the ones in they were not dragons, they were Virens. Oh, by the way, I did this thing. Can you see this? If I pull down on my screen, it no longer pops the menu down, so I don't have to like I finally figured out how to pin the fucking screen, pin the app to the screen. So even if I accidentally like switch off or like move around too much, I wouldn't accidentally pull down the screen or close the app and have to fucking re-record everything. This would really save me a lot of time. You have no idea how many fucking let's plays I fuck up in because like I accidentally pull it down and then I have to stop the whole recording and fucking edit that whole shit out. That's fucking annoying as fuck. But regardless, it's just me. This dragon could really use the saddle, you think. Goldred raises massive wings up high, blocking out the sun. Oh, the sun is up. I guess it's really bright then. Boosh, his wings swipe down and you're launched forward and up, jerking you back and forth. By the way, it's been a day. Like, literally, let me tell you. The last time we slept was when we were with the water lady. I think that's when we passed out or something, so I guess that's sleeping to some extent. Other than that, we have been going straight for this. Like, we walked all the way to rings out of the fucking ring city, and then came all the way here, and it was night time when we got here in this castle. Now it's morning. Like, do I not feel sleepy or something? But whatever. You are lunged forward and up, jerking you back and forth. You likely would fall off straight away had you not been gripping the dragon's flank so tightly. Goldred flaps harder and soon the ground is falling away. The thrust of the wings, coupled with a sudden dizziness from a rapid ascent, fills you with panic. You instinctively grab your arms around Kalak from behind. "Let me go," Kalak yells over her shoulder. You squeeze tighter around her torso as you rise up further and the wind whips past your face. Can't an elf embrace his mistress before battle?" You shout over the wind. You're afraid to let go lest be thrown from this violently rocking mount. Everyone laughs in your mind. "Enough," shouts Kalak. "Unhand me. I have spells to prepare and my limbs must be free of my fool apprentice." Still embracing Kalak from behind, you can see over her shoulder. Her arms are twisted to hold on to the spine horns, the tips of her horns being swept away. Drala sits just ahead. Several of her eyes on her back are staring at you. Taking a deep breath, you steel your nerves. You unlatch from Kalak and grab the horns as Kalak is doing. The handholds are awkward, and you've made do with worse in your climbing days. The dragon's rich and deep voice blasts through the sound of the rushing wind. Yeah, he's traveling forward, so obviously the sound of his voice would come backwards faster, I suppose. "What do you see, Drala? What is the safest approach?" "The north side has the least resistance at the moment," says Drala. "Fly over the battle, why not climb as high as you can, then dive straight down at the temple of the eternal love," says Kalak. "Sounds dangerous," you mutter. Peeking over the flank of the dragon, you see the land already getting smaller. Fear and excitement mix within you. Although you have little fear of heights, he's been acting like he's gonna die any second. The idea of driving straight over the lands without saddle or stirrups is madness. Yeah, that is kind of true. "No," says Ruala. "I shall drop us into the ethereal plane as we near the city." "I see. Precaution must have been taken by our enemy against the spell," says Kalak. "Likely, yet precaution have definitely been made against the old track of diving from on high," says Drala. "You're wielders of magic, not dragon knights. Best we play to our strengths. Drink this," says Kalak, reaching back and handing you a vial of red liquid. "You will need your strength for the battle ahead." Oh, it's probably a healing potion. Assuming Kalak means no harm to her apprentice, you uncork the poison and drink it in one gulp, even as you keep your other hand tightly gripped upon the dragon's horn. It must be a really horny dragon. I mean, as in like there must be loads of horns on its scales. Not like sharp the ones though, like just like bendy ones. The curved ones on top. You smile as healing warmth spread through you. Life increases 5. The dragon's flight has leveled off and you no longer feel like you might tumble off the back of his tail. After taking a few deep breaths, you begin to enjoy the ride. You're mesmerized by the speed and the view. With the surrounding lands of Ring City laid out before you, you see a landscape of stumps and grass for miles around, with young tree here and there that someone hadn't turned to firewood yet. Nevertheless, the land is quite beautiful, particularly near the Snake River and her tributaries, where the grass is lush green and the wildflowers of pink, yellow, and purple run in fascinating patterns that could draw you into a trance, if not for so many exciting things to see, including forests in the distance, the beautiful white-capped mountains where the silver mines lay in the east. The rushing wind is quite cold. Thankfully, to the dragon's body, is very warm and pleasant on your legs and crotch. That makes no sense though. Because if the dragon is covered with scales, the whole point of scales would be to, like, it's armor, yes, but it should also prevent heat from radiating out of it. Shouldn't that be the thing? But regardless, I suppose. And I don't think they probably care too much. They didn't put that much thought into that. Thankfully, the dragon's body is very warm and pleasant on your legs and crotch, unless the scales are part of his body, like as in like literally part of this body. Like if you cut the scale, it's not just like a fucking keratin or some shit. Not keratin, what is it? Yeah, it's probably called keratin. The ones that your fucking nails are made out of, it's not probably that. It's probably living tissue or something. That's the only way I can think of it being hot. In which case I don't really understand it even more. Why would you even have scales on your back at that point? That's a weird evolution. The dragon's body is very warm and pleasant on your legs and crotch. Occasionally, you get a whiff of Kalak, who does not smell like an old woman, but rather a nice manly scent. She obviously is wearing a cologne or it's magic. You're a little tempted to ask her what it is, but she appears to be concentrating. Her head is bowed. Her body is still, even as the dragon rocks beneath. Why is it rocking? Shouldn't the dragon be going in a straight direction? Taking a deep breath, you smile. It seems like only yesterday I was in the sewer, waist high in excrement, swaying off rat heads, now ride upon a gold dragon into battle. Thanks to me, says Egra. I actually got along without you, you say. I faced House Ruder here and am now a wealthy man. With that thought, you scan the river below, trying to spot the bend where you buried your mermaid treasure. Rala is chanting something in what must be draconic. From up here, the river does not seem familiar at all. You see one snaky part that could perhaps be the spot. Suddenly the ground disappears behind thick fog that materializes out of nowhere. The dragon below is no longer gold in color, rather he varies in hues of grey all the way. It's probably like a hiding spell or something. The wind is suddenly gone. You're no longer anchored down by gravity. Your behind lifts off the dragon. What type of fucking spell is this? Instinctively wrap your arms around Kalak, but she is now a ghost, devoid of color, just like the dragon. Lestrel, stop that. We have entered the ethereal plane, that is all. What the hell happened? Like, okay, we entered the ethereal plane. Why did I just pass through her? I guess our souls pass through each other. Wait, wouldn't that make my character look like the real character? Like, wouldn't that stop him from like looking like Lestrel? Because his soul is different from Lestrel. Lestrel, stop that, shouts Kalak. We have entered the ethereal plane, that is all. What? You shout, but you needn't shout because there is no longer the rush of air to drown out your words. The dragon's wings have stopped flapping. Hold on, says Kalak. Goldrich should guide us through. Through what? You're strained to see. I think we should stop asking these questions because Kalak is already suspicious. Through what? You're strained to see where you are. The grey and white fog is encompassing. Kalak sighs and pries your fingers apart of her chest. Drala has cast a spell that has put us into the ethereal plane, such that we can approach the battle unmolested. Unmolested is the word you're going to use. We are no longer in this world, you say, as you again grasp the spiny thorns of the dragon. Lestrel, you must have studied the planes during your time at the academy, says Kalak with a hint of uncomfortable suspicion. Yes, but you stammer. Maybe a refresher on this precise plane. The ethereal plane is closely adjacent to the material plane, so we might travel from within our native world, yet not be seen, nor even by those who can see the invisible. Even if they could see us, they could not harm us, says Rala, who is now also now a ghost, particularly terrifying one with all her eyes, nor can we touch them. We're in a ghost world, you say, taking a deep breath. There are ghost hairs, yes, says Kalak, among other beings that call the ethereal home. I can only see fog. Are we even moving? Goldred and Drala can guide us to the city, says Kalak dismissively. I know we have never traveled ethereally. You have never traveled ethereally with me, but you should not be bothering me with such elementary question. Be silent and prepare for the battle ahead. When we re-emerge into the material plane, you must be ready. You wonder if Ghost World means you're all dead, but decide against asking it. As frightened and confused as you are, you don't want to tip them off of your complete ignorance. What is this ethereal plane? You ask. Neville's hole is almost like there's no force holding me down. Yeah, gravity, hold tight, champion, she says, else you shall drift aimlessly in the ethereal for all eternity, or until something finds you and eats your soul. All eternity, you think? You notice that you're not hungry or thirsty at all. You haven't had anything to eat or drink since before entering Drala's tower. I'm a ghost. You tighten your grip on the dragon. The mount continues to be unnaturally still, his wings outstretched like a statue. The only movement the dragon makes is slowly turning his head from side to side, with his nostrils flaring as if sniffing the way.